Ladies and gentlemen, my name is TotalBiscuit. I'm here to ask and answer one simple question. WTF is Reigns. Reigns, spelled R-E-I-G-N-S. You know, that silly wrestler who can't talk and got suspended for drug use. That fellow. Thankfully not that. It is a weird little choose-your-own-adventure card game-like thingy mixed with kingdom management by a company called Nerial and published by Devolver Digital. It is a cheap and cheerful little title that popped up a couple of days ago on mobile and then popped up on Steam today for $3. And let's be honest, mobile games are mostly awful, so I'm always on the lookout for ones that aren't, because otherwise my tablet would be a Netflix machine. Now, this has not changed the fact that my tablet is a Netflix machine, but it has altered the proportion of Netflix versus other things slightly, and that I very much appreciate. The game is now on PC, so I thought I'd go through it again there as well, and put about 3 hours in on this one and 2 hours in on the mobile port. It seems like I'm about halfway through it, looking at the set of royal deeds here. You know, there seems to be 40 kind of achievements. There are 26 kinds of deaths, and I've only suffered 12 of them. And I've discovered less than half the cards available here. And you also notice my high scores, how long my various kings stayed alive before they were horribly murdered in various ways. So let's dive right in. You see a couple of little objectives here that you have to achieve. And as you do that, you will, I wouldn't say progress the story, because I mean, I think there's a story, I'm just not sure. The game's a bit weird. Now, the game describes itself as Tinder for gamers. The reason it said that is because it uses a swipe left and swipe right idea. Of course, with the mouse, it's just click left or click right to make decisions. And you are given these cards, which will affect your kingdom. And each card usually takes a year of time and power. So imagine the bit at the end of Fable 3, only an entire game of that and not colossally awful. And you've got a little bit of an idea of what Reigns is going to put in front of you. It's got this neat little art style, and it's also, as I mentioned, extremely odd. Now, you're going to meet a bunch of different characters, and as you meet them, they will be incorporated into this giant deck of cards, and you'll interact with them with your current king and your next king. So things start to get a little bit more complicated. There are some weird conflicts between them, but the basis of the game is making decisions while keeping, and I'm actually going to die here, by the way. Just want to point that out, which I find somewhat amusing. You'll notice at the top right here, there are 4 different little categories. Religion, your population, general happiness, your military strength, and your treasury, the amount of money you've got. If you either run out of any of these, or if they reach maximum, you're killed in some way or another. Yes, you can die from having too much money, and I'm most likely going to die from that in a moment. Ooh. It's, no. Thankfully, I'm able to spend some of that money before I lose from that. Yeah, I know, it's a little bit odd, isn't it? We should create a museum of creatures. Collect all living creatures. Yes, absolutely. Spend some more of that money. If I end one of these years with this at maximum, then I will actually lose. Now, you might be wondering, you know, hang on a minute, is this a real-time game or a turn-based game? So this is where things get a little bit weird. Down the bottom here, you'll notice a couple of different icons, and unfortunately, you can't hover over them to explain what they are, which is a bit of a silly omission, I think. You know, hover over tooltips would be helpful here, I think. Right-click doesn't work here either. And these are various events that are persistent throughout the world. Even if my king dies, I'll still have these in effect. I've built a communal barn, which means it's less likely that my people are going to starve to death. I have high walls, which means it's less likely that I'm going to be invaded and destroyed. And I'm currently accessing the Silk Road, which apparently makes the countries around me more angry and more likely to invade, but it's constantly giving me money. Now, the weird thing about this is that some of these effects are in real time, as you can see right here with the Silk Road. So what that does is it means that you have to sort of make these decisions more quickly. You can sit around like this, but the problem is if I don't spend money here in this event, then I'm actually going to lose. Thankfully, I can spend a little bit of money. Yes, I'd love to find love. That would be great. Yes, I will make a choice. Absolutely. Do I like Sister Godiva? Absolutely. There we go. Sister Godiva is now my lover. The church doesn't like it. Now, you'll notice that again is another effect. So the church's approval of me is constantly going down, but my money is constantly going up. The problem is that, well, now, as I max my money out, I just died of choking to death on very expensive food. Yeah, that happens. The real-time element to it doesn't happen all the time. It only happens when certain elements and certain events are in play, which is, again, a little bit strange. Otherwise, you can spend as long as you like making the decisions, although the decisions are very much binary. They don't really feel that way, though. They feel like they impact each other in a very real way. I don't know exactly whether the cards are completely randomly determined. I'm going to assume that they're not, because I've seen cards show up when, say, the population is in a bad way that seem to be related to that. So I think they manipulate the deck in that way. So the decisions seem binary, but they do, after that, appear to have some sort of impact on what's going on. Don't want to follow Rex the dog? Absolutely, follow Rex the dog. Yes, enter the caravan. What do I see? A nobleman? Rich of money, but poor of taste. He talks to a bird. Beware the blackbird, it never brings you good news. Carry on! Yes, I will spend money on that, and that's actually good. This spy is telling me some random stuff. And now I'm dead again from being too rich. I actually need to get rid of the Silk Road. I think it's finally gone now, but there we go. It's such a simple little concept. You know, the idea of choose your own adventure has been around for a while, and the idea of basic resource management games have been around for a while as well, you know, because really, this game boils down to managing these 4 bars and making sure one of them doesn't either reach the top or reach the bottom. That simple. If you were to strip all the meat off the bones, that is what this game would be. But the theme is cool, and there are so many strange things going on. Very early on in the game, I encountered Satan, who has made some kind of weird promise to me that in 666 years something will happen. Now, bear in mind, you can't actually get that far. You know, I think you start in, like, I don't know exactly when you start, like 300, 400 AD or whatever. Now I'm at 938 AD. At least I assume that's what that is. So the devil may pop up at some point. I don't know. Some weird stuff will happen. I ended up in a dungeon at some point, which gave me a little minigame there. There's actually a dueling minigame, which involves a weird sort of attack defense paradigm that's not fully explained. Let's go into the dungeon. In fact, there's a reference to Enter the Gungeon, as it turns out. There we go. And while I'm doing this dungeon, the kingdom is falling apart around me. And here's the dueling minigame, as it turns out. Now, apparently you can learn different moves depending on how much dueling practice you've had. I don't know if I brought him strawberries. I really have no idea. I'm going to defend here. And I was able to attack him back somehow. Let's finish him off. No, we were not able to do that. The system's a bit odd, honestly. It's not very well explained. It could maybe do with a little bit of fleshing out. It doesn't happen all that often. Occasionally you have to duel or fight something. It is, for the most part, fairly rare. Hey, we found a torch. Yes, that sounds good. It evaporates. Rubbish, you think. And you see all the lights are now on in the dungeon. Alright, well, I guess that's convenient then, I suppose. I'm not sure if you have to go the same way out of the dungeon every time. Break the wall. Yeah, sure, why not? Which did absolutely nothing. You see my kingdom is falling apart around me. Even if I get out, I will probably be killed, which is unfortunate. Break that wall as well. It's just a weird set of choices with a really cool theme, and the reason that I'm interested in it is because I keep meeting really strange characters. I keep encountering new situations constantly. The amount of sheer prompts and situations and choices that you're given in the game seems to be absolutely massive. And that in itself is awesome. There are the occasional repeated choice, but they're fairly generic, and you don't honestly notice them all that much, because they're usually stuck in the middle of something really weird or really interesting or something along those lines. Kick down the door. No, we ain't getting through that, I'm afraid. Nope, we died in the dungeon. Alright, there we go. But I believe you actually get to keep Excalibur for next time. So I actually now have an advantage in dueling or something along those lines. Also, this used to be a vase. Just... It's better not to ask. It's a very easy recommendation to me. because I love choose your own adventure, as you're probably well aware, and I love weirdness and strange narratives, and this game has so much of all of that in it, and it's so easy to play for a short session, and it's so enjoyable to play either on mobile or on PC, and the price is so low. What are the values of a good king? 9. Do you need some credit? No, I'm not going to take a loan. That would be bad. Yes, you keep looking for the Orient, please. Send the army. This bird is telling me there's polygamy going on. It's just ridiculous. You know, it's ridiculous. It's such a simple idea, but it's so well executed. I love the art in particular. I love the style. Very unique. And the storyline, what there is of it in the narrative is utterly bizarre. And that gives me that sense of discovery. I want to keep playing. Despite the fact that 24 kings or whatever have died under my watch. I want to keep playing because something weird is going to happen just around the corner. There's always that feeling that something very, very strange is going to happen next. I want to uncover all the characters. I want to find out all the ways to die, all the weird side plots and storylines. I just want to keep digging through it. And for $3, that is not a particularly difficult sell to me. For something like that. Hey, now I'm in a completely different area. I didn't even know this was possible, but apparently it is. There we go. Now I have a larger empire. Wonderful. This is probably all gonna go horribly wrong. It's called Reigns, ladies and gentlemen. It's $3. It's available on iOS, it's available on Android and on PC. And it is a very strange, casual, laid-back, simultaneously stressful good time. Does that make any sense? Probably not. Oh, there's a coup d'etat, we all died. The army was too strong. It happens. Apparently managing a kingdom is a little bit tricky. Reigns, ladies and gentlemen, go have a look at it. It's not exactly a high price tag. This should keep you ticking over till No Man's Sky. My name has been TotalBiscuit. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, by all means, do feel free to swipe left. Is it left or right? But I don't know what you kids are doing these days. Just give me a thumbs up. You know, it's nice, isn't it? Yeah, you feel good about it. I'll see you next time.